What's going on, guys? My Big Thing 2010. I'm do the voiceover on this video, otherwise it would have been like a half hour long. This gun's been previously cleaned with hoppies. You can catch that on my dirty ammo video. I'll leave a link right here for you. I'm going to go ahead and break this down a little bit further. That big pin, the large pin by the trigger, will be a little tough to get out. Don't be scared to knock on it with something. Pull all three pins out and then go ahead and pry on the locking block, and that should pop right out. You might have to wiggle it back and forth a little bit. Make sure you take your slide lock release lever out, and then go ahead and pull out the whole trigger assembly. There's nothing else left in this Glock other than the slide tabs. So I've never done one of these voiceovers, so be patient with me here, guys. I'm going to do something unconventional and use brake parts cleaner here. That should get people up in an uproar in the comments, but this is basically gun scrubber, only it's $3 instead of $9 or $10, and you get way more of it. If you want to use it on your polymer, test it in an inconspicuous area like I'm showing here. Make sure it won't melt it. If it doesn't, then feel free to use it on your polymer. You'll also notice that I'm not going to use it lightly. I'm going to go ahead and be very liberal with the brake cleaner here to make sure. Now I'm going to show you here. I don't know if you can tell, there's a color change there. It almost looks charcoal gray instead of black. Now that's perfectly normal, guys. It's just because there's no oil or lubricant on the metal anymore. So I'm just making doubly sure here that everything is clean and grease free, so when we get to the FROGLUBE application, I don't have anything on the firearm to interfere with the FROGLUBE that I may have used previously on the firearm. Now here's a quick tip, guys. These Priority Mail Express boxes are free at the post office, and they're great. They soak up your mess as you make a mess. Now see how clean this patch is here? Just showing that hoppies really does do a great job on firearms. But it cleans up your mess as you make a mess, and you could just fold it up and use it over and over and over again until you don't need it anymore. So post office will probably be pissed about that. Also, brake cleaner is probably the easiest way to get a slide spring clean, in my opinion. If you have some Klingons, you can use a toothbrush to get those out, and then just, hit it again with the brake cleaner, and everything should come out for you just fine. A couple drops of oil, and you should be good to go in a normal circumstance. I'm not going to re-oil here because of the FROGLUBE. Just cleaning the stop lever off and the locking block. I'm going to wipe down this locking block, and you're going to see there's still some discoloration on there. That's not dirt, guys. If you come across this while you're doing it, it's just discoloration. If brake cleaner doesn't get it off, then it's not dirt. Brake cleaner should take everything off. It's pretty gnarly stuff. Now here I'm going to pay special attention to the slide grooves, and I'm telling you here not to get anything in that striker pin channel. But if you do, it's really not that big of a deal because it's only brake cleaner after all, so it should evaporate. But I do highly suggest that once your FROGLUBE treatment is complete, that you take your detail strip your slide, take it apart, and make sure that that striker channel and the striker parts are completely dry, and then reassemble. If you don't know how to do that, there's a video on my channel. It's called Glock Slide Disassembly or Glock Slide Detail Strip, and it shows you how to do it. It's pretty easy. It only takes about 2 or 3 minutes. It's not complicated at all. I'm just going to go ahead, and I just sprayed the whole trigger group down there with all the plastic parts still attached because it's really no big deal, and I didn't feel like taking all the little springs apart and maybe losing them. So here I'm liking and showing you my great work on how great that brake cleaner does work to take all the crap out of your gun. It's probably the cleanest my Glock has ever been, and you can see that I'm getting every tiny little drop of frog lube out of these containers, because when you buy them in the trial containers like this, it's pretty expensive. The stuff's like liquid gold. So I'm just going to use a heat gun here, guys. You can use a hair dryer. I kind of forgot how my heat gun, how good it was a couple times, and overheated the barrel and the slide. And if that happens to you, it's not a big deal. It's not going to interfere with the frog lube application, so don't worry about it. Just don't burn your little fingertips. I did just show you guys that you'll know when you got it hot enough, and I believe the reference number was 125 degrees to heating the metal up for proper application. Don't quote me on that though. And I was just showing that you'll know when you got it hot enough, because the frog lube paste, if you're using the liquid like I am, or even if you're using a brush and the paste, it'll melt on contact when you apply it, so you'll know that you got the metal warm enough. And I did mention here in the video that with every single part, once you're done with it, set it aside and just forget about it for at least an hour. Don't go chasing after this 15 minutes later and try wiping it down, because you're just going to waste your time and your money. I let both my AR and the Glock sit for about 2.5 hours each, and both treatments came out great. And I did not worry about getting it on the polymer. It doesn't hurt anything. It's pretty good stuff. Here I'm just obviously heating up the barrel, and I'm going to go ahead and mop the barrel down quite liberally, and I'm going to burn my fingers in a second. You'll see when I grab a patch where I burnt myself. But also, because I know somebody will leave it in the comments about using Q-tips on firearms. I've been doing it for years, guys, and they're a great cleaning and lube application tool. They're cheap and they're readily available. Just be careful not to leave anything behind, and I doubt, even if I did leave a fiber or two behind, if I wasn't paying attention, that my Glock would even give a crap about that. But nowadays you can even walk into, if you're in a decent gun shop and walk into the cleaning aisle, you will see basically Q-tips with wooden sticks instead of the cardboard stick that they're normally on, and they sell them specifically for gun cleaning. So it's not against nature's law to use a Q-tip on to clean your gun. I've done it for years and I'll continue to do it. Here I was just showing you the consistency of the frog lube, and what happens to it once you apply heat. You'll see it run in the back there. And again, try to keep the frog lube out of the striker channel, because once it heats up, it's going to do exactly what you're seeing here, and it's going to turn into liquid again, and you don't want anything whatsoever, solvents, lubricants, anything inside of that striker pin channel, because it will cause problems and Murphy's Law will kick in, and it may not happen right away for you, but it will happen at the worst possible time. So best practice is to keep the firing pin components, striker components, and their respective compartments as dry and clean as possible. Again, I have a video showing how to take apart the slide and clean that. It's fairly easy, nothing to be scared of, and it's probably one of the most neglected things on modern handguns that people just don't dive into the way they should. Now, you'll see that I'm being quite liberal here, and I'm going to actually do the outside of the slide too. This is not necessary. I just did it to offer a little bit of protection on the outer surfaces from the oils on your skin and handling, and also going in and out. Now you'll see right here the barrel, where the barrel slides through. I did apply generously a lot of frog lube. Now if you got little rings around your barrel, also known as Glock smiles, it's a metal on metal contact, so you definitely want to make sure that you're lubricating that area. Like I just said, this is not necessary to do the outside, but I was going through all the trouble anyway, and it was heated up, and the metal, the pores of the metal were open, so I just decided to go ahead and treat the entire thing and give frog lube a shot. And I gotta tell you, I'm kind of glad I did, because the entire firearm, it's not in my head, by the way, either. I'd tell you if it was crap, but the entire firearm feels worlds apart from the way it has felt from my conventional lubrication methods in the past couple years. So I think here I'm showing you, I bought 4 tubes of this stuff because I wasn't sure, quite sure how far they were going to go. And it does go pretty far, because I only used 1 1/4 tubes, maybe a little bit over a quarter tube, to do a complete AR-15 and my entire Glock and all of the internals of the Glock. So it does go pretty far, so you don't have to be too sparing with it. It is pretty expensive when you buy it in those little trial tubes, like I said, but you don't have to go completely nuts with it, because you'll see if you rewind, when I first started doing the exterior of the slide, I did not apply any frog lube to that Q-tip and did pretty much the whole exterior of the slide with what was on that Q-tip. It goes a long way. Now here I'm just explaining that I'm doing all of the internals and the trigger bar, the trigger connector, the trigger assembly, the locking block, and all that good stuff, because I kind of just want to give frog lube a shot and see if it'll make my life easier the next time I go ahead and detail strip and clean those components. Now I just showed the Spyderco Tenacious, highly recommended blade. I love that blade. I carry it and use it every day. And I was just explaining that the frog lube is green and it doesn't hurt your skin. It's great for the environment, and it smells awesome. It smells like a light wintergreen flavor scent. And if you're used to hoppies, frog lube is a real pleasant transfer. So when you come back, you're just gonna lightly wipe down these surfaces and maybe wipe off any puddles or deep collections of frog lube after it has congealed, and then reassemble the weapon and give it a function check. So that's what I'm doing right here, and I was completely amazed at the difference. It really is like night and day. So there you have it, guys. I'm going to post the first part of the preparation in a separate video, so if you want to see it slowed down on how to take everything apart and strip it with the brake cleaner, that'll be forthcoming, so keep an eye out for that, guys. This is My Big Thing 2010. Sorry about the voiceover. Thanks for watching, guys. Please rate, comment, subscribe. Please click that like button for me. It really helps me out a lot. Have a great night, guys. Later.